So you guys really seem to like my last St Kilda video, and it was, I think, the first St Kilda video I made on this channel, and I really made it out of the fact that I was just kind of excited with what St Kilda did with the draft and how they managed to bring in not only the two best defenders in the class, but players who some believe could come out of, and being the best players in the draft. But it was also like Saints were getting a lot of unnecessary hate by people on Instagram. I just felt like, a chubby fat kid with a Tate McRae shirt just had to come on and put on his camera and, record something defending Saints fans. So it got me curious on potentially making another video that has to do with St Kilda, and a topic that I've been thinking about for a bit, and that actually has to do with the low-key incredible young core that St Kilda have been building. And look, I felt like as a massive Richmond fan, I'm not too educated on this matter, so I actually called up one of my mates and we spoke about a lot of the things that were going really well for St Kilda right now that no one's really talking about. There's not many people out there talking about it. Again, you've got all the experts and commentators and pretty much all of them and their dads just glazing the hell out of a lot of teams' young cores, but St Kilda are just kind of sitting in the back looking like that one Mike Wazowski meme, because no one's talking about their incredible young core that I think is going underrated. So I'm here to do that today. Again, shout out my mate Lyon, who's been helping me with a lot of this video. I'd link him and his socials, but I actually don't think he really has any socials that he wants linked, unless he's got an OnlyFans or something. But I'll have to talk to him about that. If you see an OnlyFans link down below, you know who it is. Again, before we do get into this video though, there's still a decent amount of you guys who watch these videos who are not yet subscribed to the channel. So if you could do me a massive favor and leave a like on this video to let me know you enjoy it, and subscribe to the channel for all the latest AFL content and some more Saints content and whatnot. And I guess without further ado, we'll talk about now the incredibly underrated young St Kilda Football Club list. I think one thing that's kind of cool is if you actually look at St Kilda's recent 3-kilometre time trial they had, the top 5 in that actually featured a lot of their really good young players, with first being second-year player Darcy Wilson, Brad Hill of course finishing second, third being Hugo Garcia, fourth being Matisse Filippo, who was only in, I think, his third year as well. And of course, the skipper, Jack Steele, finishing fifth. Now, those top 4 players actually are really interesting to me, because I think a thing that Ross Lyon really wanted to implement when he came to St Kilda was he wanted to add a lot more speed and a lot better ball use in what a lot of people called the most boring and slow team in the AFL. Now again, I think Ross Lyon is a really underrated coach and a very good coach. If any of you guys have watched him on Footy Classified, you know this man has more knowledge about AFL than what a unemployed person does with their favorite porn star. This is a guy who absolutely knows a lot about the game, and I think is a really good and underrated coach who doesn't get talked about enough. One of the first things that Ross Lyon really wanted to do for the St Kilda Football Club is make their team a lot more of a faster game style, and a team that just uses the ball a lot better and goes about that type of style. Now, the St Kilda Football Club already had a lot of players to be able to, of course, go and do that. They had Brad Hill, they had Dan Butler, they had a lot of those really quick, speedy players, and Ross Lyon was able to use them to actually make the 8. But he knew that he needed to build onto this, so they went out and, of course, added a bunch of young talent in players like Darcy Wilson to the team, an incredibly fast and quick player who also, as just mentioned, won their 3-kilometre time trial. He also added, at the time, 22-year-old Liam Henry, who, again, is a very, very quick, fast, energetic player to the team, and has now gone into 2024 and done something really interesting where not only did he let a lot of the older, slower players and midfielders like Seb Ross go, like Brad Crouch go, but just a lot of older and slower players in general, like Tim Membry, Tom Campbell, and Jack Hayes, really emphasizing on building this young core up, and now having one of the youngest lists in the AFL, which I believe was like 5th youngest last season, and I can only imagine has gotten even younger this season. They of course brought in Travalia, a really good ball user and quick player off halfback. Alex Terrell as well, who, even though he is a key defender because he's now listed at 193, he was actually before that a really good halfback before the growth spurt and can really use the ball too. So you bring in 2 players who are really going to fit into this Ross Lyon game style, but also you're letting go all of these older and slower midfielders and players, and you are now replacing them now with these younger players like Philippou and Wilson, who I can only imagine are going to be playing much more midfield time throughout next season. We already saw Wilson. He started off as like a small forward, and then he ended up being a wing, and I think even had a couple center bounces at the end of the year. I wouldn't be surprised if he's really going to become a lot more of a midfielder for them next season as well. So they're definitely getting quicker, they're definitely getting a lot faster and younger, and if you actually look at it, there's a really nice list here of players under the age of 24 on their team. You've got Nasiah Wanganeen-Milera, who's only 22. Mitch Owens is 21. Max King's 24. Darcy Wilson, 19. Matisse Philippou is 20. Cooper Sharman's 24. Win Hager's only 21, which is crazy. Ryan Burns is a 23-year-old player too. Liam Henry, 23. Alex Terrell's 18. And Toby Travalia is 18 as well. So you've just, realistically, over the last couple of years, they've had a lot of an older, slower midfield who hasn't really had much of a representation of players in there that look like Jack Steele, Seb Ross, Brad Crouch, a lot of the similar type of players in there too. Now, next season, you're also kind of going to be replacing Paddy Dow, who at times was like their second option last year too. Liam Henry, who was hopefully a lot healthier for them this season. Darcy Wilson, I think, will be in there. There's been rumours Travalia might play some midfield for them as well, but I'm not exactly too sure. Again, Sinclair, we have heard by a lot of people, will probably be playing a bit more midfield next season too. And again, I just think they are really trying to build a different dynamic in there, get a lot more speed, a lot better of a ball use, and they're really trying to do something, St Kilda, which is something that I think a lot of us haven't been able to say for a while. They've been stuck in the middle, stuck in the rut for so long, where I think now they're building one of the best young cores in the game that they're going to continue to build up on. And then I wouldn't be surprised if in 2026, St Kilda are not only a top 8 team again, but a team who are really going to show that they belong in the finals. What I mean by that here is, I mentioned about 12 players who are probably in their best 23 who are under 24. The realistic thing is, next year, I think they're going to be adding another probably top 6 player. I don't personally have them finishing any higher than that, but I think they'll be able to bring in a really good top 6 player. And then I think, of course, they're going to go after the big free agent in Luke Davies-Uniacke, who they've been really linked to and have been said to be the favourites on potentially landing. Again, if they do land LDU, get in another really good young midfielder, probably in that top 6 of the draft, continue to build this young core and continue to keep selecting steals, which they've really looked like they have been. I think, again, as I said, St Kilda will be in the 8 in no time, and they're definitely building something really, really good here. Again, Liam Stocker seemed like a find for them last year. He was really good off the back line. I don't know if Hunter Clark will play much footy next year. He's been in and out. Zach Jones as well. He finally came back a little bit of last year, but I think they're hoping to expect that he maybe jumps back into next season and plays a lot better. Again, Mason Wood seems to only get better for them as well. There's definitely a core there. So I'm interested to see how St Kilda are going to go next season. I'd very much like to hear all of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. Do you think they're only a year or two away, or do you think they could try and contend for the 8 again next season? And will they go after LDU? I'd very much like to hear all of your thoughts and opinions. Again, if you haven't already, please make sure to leave a like on this video. Subscribe to the channel for all the latest sports content and news. Subscribe to my gaming channel, my IRL/Lyon channel as well. All of them will be getting linked down below. And I guess I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.